I'm now aboard one of the best sounding cars ever built. Has a V6 engine, has glorious Italian styling. This is in fact a Citroen Xantia V6. And what I absolutely adore about this car is that when you do this, it gets very quick and sounds absolutely divine. The Xantia is one of my favourite Citroens. You get the hydro pneumatic suspension, but it's firmed up a bit, so it's not too floaty, it doesn't roll around in the corners. Some complain that it doesn't actually feel that different to a conventional car, and perhaps they're right. But this is still very comfortable, and yet still has that quirk factor. It still self-levels automatically, no matter how much weight you put in the car. And it has to be one of the most attractive Citroens as well. A specialist once told me that the Xantia V6, especially running on LPG like this example does, is all the car you'd ever need. They're absolutely right. Personally, I love the fact that Xantia V6 looks absolutely identical to any other Xantia, really. There's nothing that sets it apart. No hint at the 200 brake horsepower performance that lurks beneath. That's 60. It does not hang about, this car. And I hope that this is getting the sound across, because it's just glorious. You just want to do it again and again. Some enterprising souls have even built a car we never got on the UK market. That's a Xantia V6 Activa. We only got the Activa with a blown 4-cylinder engine, which frankly was never quite up to the job. But the Activa uses those clever hydraulics to cancel out body roll. So you can throw the car into a bend and it will not lean. That means you can corner with phenomenal speed. Given that I'm used to a 2CV, which rolls all over the place, I would absolutely love to have a go in an Activa, and I never have. But the idea of combining that clever suspension with the fiercely gorgeous V6, yeah, I can see why people do it. Thing is, you can buy these cars for absolutely sod all money. I think you only paid something like £1,500 for this one. But you see them in the £300 or £400 bracket, and it has to be tempting. Naturally, there are some downsides. I imagine changing the cam belt on one, which must be one hell of a belt. I imagine that's not actually very much fun. But I mean, don't believe the horror stories about Citroen hydraulics, because they're largely not true. The Activa is quite complicated and has an endless number of spheres. But the Xantia system is actually very simple. Great chucking it into sport mode and it downshifts for you. Now this is a typical road which really makes the Citroen suspension work well. It undulates quite a lot, but the Citroen just absorbs it, floats over it. I was so captivated by the V6 engine that I completely forgot to come up with any sort of conclusion. So naturally I like the Xantia a lot. It's a Citroen, And while it certainly doesn't have the floaty excesses of earlier Citroens like the CX and the DS, it's still a very interesting car. And given that Citroen hasn't really managed to build anything like it, the C5 that took over from it was just a bit of a blobby mess, to be honest. It has to be a car that's definitely going to get a bigger following as time goes by. So now really is the time to buy one, and I would definitely recommend the V6. See you next time.